Hi, thanks for joining me today. My name is Dan O'Brien, and I'm responsible for the pre-sales organization for our commercial division at Dell EMC for North America. I wanted to spend some time today walking you through the unique value proposition that I think we have as Dell EMC and Dell Technologies that we can go share with our customers. So I'm going to spend a few minutes going into character, presenting like I would to a customer, and then spend a little bit of time afterwards walking through understanding the conversation, the specific points that we need to make, and really the kind of underlying purpose of what we're trying to accomplish. So let's get started. So Mr. Customer, thanks for taking some time to meet with me today. I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about who Dell Technologies is as a company, but I think to understand the value, it's important to talk about some of the things that we see with other customers just like yourselves. So I want to start talking here about the way things have traditionally been done. Just about every IT shop that I talk to has a set of applications, potentially running on virtualization, and IT has built out a three-tiered architecture to be able to support those applications. They built compute, they built SAN, they've had storage, they built storage behind it, oftentimes multiple different vendors across each one of those stacks to be able to provide the right value and SLA back to the business. Now, the common thing that I hear from every customer is that over 80% of my budget has been allocated to keeping the lights on, right? To continue to make sure these applications run at the SLAs that the business is asking for. Now, the challenge with this is that it gets in the way of our customers' ability to innovate and go capture new market opportunities and gain a competitive advantage. So I want to take a little bit of time and I want to dig into this a little bit and talk about what really is that technical debt that's holding us back. So in all of my travels and all my interactions with customers, what I find is that all the work that happens, that is that technical debt, falls into three buckets. And it really starts with IT projects. So if you look at the stack, some of the common things that my customers share with me have to do is they have to add capacity upgrades. Right? This could be in the form of compute, it could be in the form of network, it could be in the form of storage. They're constantly spending time refreshing their assets. Right? I have 3 different layers of the stack. I have multiple different components that I built together. They're all on different cycles. Customers spend a lot of time having to refresh those and ultimately do things like data migrations. While there's lots of other things, these are some of the common ones that I see. And they're critical that you as a customer have the ability to execute these well. But the reality of it is, no matter how good of a job we do here, the people that are the business owners don't necessarily see value or care that we're doing this well. The next bucket that I see is maintenance. We have all these different components in the environment. In order to make sure that things continue to run and I maintain a certain LA, things have to be maintained. So I have software, I have firmware that has to be upgraded. I often have, what I find is that customers have vendors that call them and they say, hey, we have a hot fix or we have a patch that has to be implemented right now because you have vulnerability. So we have to think about how we go do these things. Now, unfortunately, what happens is oftentimes these maintenance events start to trigger something that's probably one of the most painful things that customers share with me, is outages. And oftentimes, they're really a function of these maintenance events. So many times when these things have to happen, our customers need to reduce risk, so they have to go through planned maintenance windows. And of course, you can imagine these happen on nights and weekends at very inconvenient times and take a lot of planning. Now, the worst case scenario is when these happen and they're unplanned. They happen from infrastructure breaking. And I got to be honest, half the time I'm talking to customers, they're happening because some sort of maintenance event didn't understand other dependencies in the environment and caused an outage. When the reality of it is, what all these things that we're doing here is really that 80% time that you're not spending on focusing on new business opportunities. So when I get the opportunity to talk with business owners, there's a different set of projects that are critical and important to them. And a few common ones that I see is customers that are looking to implement analytics. Analytics to maybe potentially understand how to go capture new customers, maybe capture a new market opportunity. I see customers that are looking to develop new applications, to interact with customers in new ways, again, to capture new markets and add more value to the company. And many of my customers are producing products. And they're trying to release products faster and get them quicker to take advantage of opportunities and gain profitability. When the reality of it is, when IT is only spending 20% of their time here, we start to see a shift and where the business owners are looking to get access to these sorts of services to execute this plan. And oftentimes what we're seeing is they're looking outside of IT to be able to deliver on this. So what I want to talk to you about today is how we're helping our customers go through a transformation to shift this spend in technical debt so that IT can be relevant and respond to the business needs to gain a competitive advantage as a company. So this is really at the root of transformation. And our goal and what we work with customers on is that we have this budget that we talked about that's there to keep the lights on, and our goal is to optimize that. While at the same time, as we start to drive cost out there, it gives us the ability to start to spend incremental dollars to drive innovation. And what we see to do this, there's enabling technologies that we like to refer to as modern architectures that's helping our customers start down this journey. So to get started here, I want to walk you through these. And the first one is a technology called Flash. When I talk to many customers, I generally hear them that Flash is all about performance. And while that's true, what we're finding when customers invest in Flash, they have less space inside the data center, they use less, they spend less on power and cooling, they don't have to have the overhead or administrative costs because inherently Flash makes storage solutions simpler. They can simply provision storage, give it to an application, and they're done. They no longer need experts in their data center to be able to do this, and they can start to repurpose those headcounts other places. We also offer our customers guaranteed pricing over a seven-year window. So many of our customers traditionally would buy infrastructure. After 3 years, they would have a much higher support cost. We can guarantee predictable spend across this so customers can plan accordingly. And we've seen this be incredibly so successful that over 70% of our storage systems that customers are purchasing don't have a single spinning disk drive inside of them. The second component of the modern architecture is scale-out architecture. And if you think of how we traditionally did things back in the old world, we'd have to sit down, we'd have to understand what your 3 to 5 year growth rates would look like, both for capacity and performance. We'd architect a system to take that into place based on how long you wanted to keep the assets. And generally one of two things would happen. Either we oversized it and you spent more money than you had to, or we undersized it, meaning you'd have to go through a painful and very expensive process. The second thing that scale-out gives us is the ability to purchase what you need when you need it, right? So if your business is unpredictable and you have growth rates, buy what you need today, add what you need for tomorrow when that need comes up. It also allows our customers to get out of the business of doing things like data migrations. So if I have a cluster running in a scale-out architecture, I can add new hardware to the system, I can take the aging hardware out, I don't have to worry about physically relocating my data and taking on that risk. The third element of modern architecture is cloud-enabled. So we found in our interactions with many customers that different applications have different SLAs and needs and have different costs that really make sense from a customer perspective. So having solutions that allow our customers to seamlessly move data inside and outside of the cloud based on things like archive and long-term retention to have the right cost model is incredibly impactful. Cloud-enabled technologies are also allowing our customers, when they want to start delivering automation out of the actual physical infrastructure to provide a better service level to some of the groups that are doing things like analytics or development, right, is a critical component to being successful in that journey. And the last category here is software-defined. And by abstracting the capabilities of the services that we deliver our customers so they're no longer dependent on proprietary hardware, we're giving our customers choice in how they want to consume these technologies to give them the right possible cost metric and also take advantage of new supply chain models, right, to be able to react to their business in a faster, more efficient way. So what we've talked about here are what we call modern architectures that are really focused on how can I start to drive down this 80% technical debt that I traditionally deal with. But really, if you want to unlock the value and start to focus on how do I address things like my maintenance and the outages and drive that technical debt out and think about how I get to market quicker, we have to talk about how you consume these technologies, and that really drives that part of the conversation. So Mr. Customer, at the very start here, we are now a company in Dell Technologies that gives you the ability from a single vendor to have compute, network, and storage from a single place. So the few advantages that you have from us is from a single place, you can take advantage of purchasing in a single vendor strategy to be able to consume these technologies at the best possible price, and do it in a way where we give you blueprints and architectures to make sure that as you build these and stand them up in your environment, you can do that in the most efficient way possible with the least number of errors. We really haven't started to solve the main challenges around maintenance and upgrades yet. And how we do that is we take these technologies and we provide them to our customers as an engineered solution. So what does that mean? We've had a $2 billion investment to be able to test all the different interoperabilities of all the components that you could have inside your infrastructure. Now we take that capability, we engineer a system for you, we manufacture it for you so that when it shows up, you provide power and network connectivity, and you're simply responsible to move your applications over. So you start to provide a better, time to market to be able to start getting value back to the business owners. And that being said, we provide this to our customers in two different form factors. We have converged infrastructure that takes disparate components and builds that for our customers. But we also offer it in hyper-converged infrastructure where I can have compute and storage on a single entity and give you a completely different purchasing model. The capability to have small incremental capital purchases that you can grow over time as your business scales and as you need. Now, the most unique part about this is not only do we deliver that and increase your time to market, but what happens on day two? These have been engineered and manufactured, they're now supported and sustained as an entity. So all the different components that need to be patched and upgraded are controlled together, and we'll even take care of that process for you, ultimately eliminating many outages. So to give you a perfect example, I just worked with a customer over the last year. By going to a converged infrastructure platform, they were able to get to market in 70% less time than they would if they traditionally built it themselves. And they also now eliminated 95% of the outages that they had because they had a controlled environment where we took care of patching and maintaining the infrastructure. Now, if you look at what we've done here, we've really focused on that technical debt and taken a lot of that away from our customers. The next step is how do we think about innovating? And to think about driving innovation, enabling the business, we have to drive a level of automation in the way that we deliver IT. And to do this, it's absolutely critical that I define all the elements by software. I have to have software-defined compute, software-defined network, and I have to have software-defined storage. And if I have these three components, now I can think about how I deliver a completely automated environment to our customers. So to do that, right, we now have the ability to orchestrate and automate the delivery of IT. And what this provides to our customers and what we can give you is that we can now build out a portal, both for IT and more importantly, you can give it for self-service to your actual customers. But the critical component is we can also provide business management so that you have all the right approvals, workflows, understanding of all the financial metrics in the environment. And lastly, we have the ability for you to even now be able to broker workloads, understanding that the financial liability of running at all of your applications and different use cases on premise might not always make sense, will give you the opportunity to broker and leverage different workloads both on and off-prem, different infrastructure on and off-prem. And to take a look at this, not just take my word for it, you have the ability to go to ehcdemo.com and you can see this for yourself and know that we can provide this as a completely engineered, built solution for our customers. Now, if you look at what we've done here, we've started to deliver infrastructure as a service. We haven't necessarily enabled the development teams to get to market faster with a new product. So for that, we provide our customers with a platform. And the goal of providing our customers with a platform is that now developers don't have to worry about infrastructure and maintaining the environments. They can focus on writing code, getting through their development cycle, and ultimately bringing a product to market faster. And if you want to see what this looks like, you can go to nhcdemo.com to see a working native hybrid cloud in action. So if you look at what we're doing here with consumption models, right, we can start from the bottom, and we give you different options based on what are your requirements for time to value and what are your requirements for time to market. All the way taking risk out of the process at each step in the phase, at each phase in the journey. So let's take a step back. We've talked a little bit about how we reduce that technical debt, how we provide you with solutions that help you accelerate the way that you get to market. But I think it's important to understand how our company is organized and the value that it can bring to you as a collective entity. So the center is Dell Technologies. And we start with the enterprise data infrastructure company called Dell EMC. So Dell EMC is a collection of all the products that are inside the data center, server, network, storage, all the compute options that are under a single common leadership structure to bring those products to market in the best possible way for you. VMware is a separate entity. They're really focused on what is our strategy to deliver and execute much of this software-defined strategy for our customers. And then we have our converged platform system division that's focused on delivering these engineered solutions as well as the absolute automation of infrastructure and platform capabilities on top of that. Now, as we see our customers start to expand and be susceptible to new threats, security is critical. And for security, we have RSA and SecureWorks. Now, together, these two companies are providing our customers with the tools and the services and process to not only protect threats, but actually predictively understand where the next threat may come from and take action to prevent that from happening. We also have a public cloud offering for our customers in our offering called VirtuStream. This company is focused on doing two things, providing the best possible cost for a storage as a service model and providing a place where you can now run tier 1 applications off-premise in a public cloud with the tight SLAs that they deserve, specifically focused on SAP and Oracle. And then we have Pivotal. And Pivotal is really focused on how can I help our customers, like you, be able to get applications to market faster. And we do this by providing a software platform that enables developers to get through the cycle process faster, and by a service-led engagement where we sit and spend time with your development team to teach them new methodologies to create applications. But at the center of this whole transformation, and quite possibly what might be the most critical component, is the client experience. We have a transformation of the people in the workforce that work in different ways and work from different places, and having an array of solutions there to be able to enable that is a critical component to this. So if you take a quick step back and you look at who we are today, we are the only company in technology with a strategy that can start at the edge, deliver solutions in the core, and help you as a customer as you start to build out and develop and execute a cloud strategy. So I thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. I hope you found it valuable, and I look forward to talking about some of these topics in more detail in the future.
Hello, Chris Pawlowski, Director of Pre-Sales Enablement. Here with Dan O'Brien, who just finished doing a gorgeous whiteboard, Leave Behind for customers, walking through the value of Dell Technologies. Dan, great job. Thank you. I want to talk to you about exactly how you laid this out, because it's definitely in a prepared flow. And so let's kind of start at the top around traditional IT and this 4-box that you drawn. Can you explain this a bit to me?
Yeah, no, Chris, that's a great question. So for here, what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to build credibility with the customer, right? And to do that, as we hear a lot of things that come out about, hey, you spend so much money on innovation, you spend too much money on keeping the lights on. What I'm trying to do is build credibility and understand what's specific to the customer. So I put a traditional infrastructure up there, not because every customer has that, but I want to put it as a talking point so I can maybe understand some of the apps they have, some of the virtual, machine technologies they've standardized on, maybe get an idea of what their storage infrastructure sounds like. And then most importantly, when I come here, I put these here to give you some talking points, right, that you can go align with your customer. But ultimately, this needs to be a collaborative portion of the conversation where you engage with the customer and capture their information and start to build out some of the pain they have in their environment.
Okay, great. So, obviously in a studio environment, you don't have a customer here, but when you do this live with customers, you actually ask them what their IT projects are, what their maintenance schedule is, and you write their actual pain points down.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, great.
And what I find, Chris, is that we always talk about we've got to get to the C-level, and we've got to sell everything right from the top of the stack down. And the reality of it is we've got relationships with the people that manage the infrastructure today. Right. Doing it this way is a great way to build champions at lower levels in the accounts that will start to elevate you and provide you new opportunities with new audiences.
Great. So then we move on to kind of this optimized innovation curve we've all seen through the various EMC readies and trainings that we've done, right? And the actual technology that builds things out, right? Well, why do you still include this, in the talk track, and do you feel it's still relevant as part of our story?
Yeah, it's a great point, Chris. So first of all, I think this is more relevant than it's ever been, right? Given the product portfolio advancements we've had in flash and around scale out, given the fact that we now have options that include a server footprint that we could never talk to our customers about before, I think this is incredibly relevant. And the key points that I'm trying to drive out here is that we've identified some technical debt and pain in the customer environment. I have to start showing a customer how investing in these architectures will start to solve and drive some of this 80% time and money they're spending on keeping the lights on, start to shrink that down.
Okay, great. And then that ultimately leads to this time to value, time to market, right?
Totally.
And that's where we shine as Dell Technologies, right? So this is a very specific layer within the stack, right?
Totally.
And you walk through it, but can you break it down a little bit as to why you have these different boxes?
100%, Chris. So I think the main goal, if I took a very high-level approach here, is that this is us creating a vision for our customers, right? We know we can paint a vision of the end game and what they could be. It allows us to have more value and ultimately sell more technologies and have a better position inside the account. Now, what I'm most excited about is that we've never been able to talk about this traditionally for EMC.
Exactly.
Right? And now this is a great opportunity, right, when we partner with our Dell counterparts, right, that we can now take advantage of the ability to bring everything to our customers they have some unbelievable things around blueprints to help accelerate our customers building these, and we've got to get comfortable with that because that is a great purchasing opportunity for our customers. But then I think we want to start bringing ourselves up the stack to say, if you got to get to market faster, right, if you want to continue to reduce that technical debt, we really haven't talked here about how do I deal with maintenance and how do I deal with outages and how do I take that portion of the debt out? And that's really when we want to talk about engineered solutions in the converged platform.
Excellent.
Right? So to me, these first two things are really about shrinking down that technical debt as much as we can.
And between traditional Dell and EMC, our converged, hyper-converged server network storage portfolio is more robust than ever, right? We really have an opportunity and we shouldn't be losing any deal, right? Because we have everything available to the customer.
I completely agree.
Right? So then you start talking about software defined, right? Yeah. And why is that an important layer on top of this, let's call it traditional architecture?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when we start talking about software defined, I think it can be one of those terms that can feel like it's overused. But the reality of it is, if a customer wants to deliver any level of automation, which is the next step, you need to have all three components. And the reality of it is, there's been lots of options in the compute layer, but the options that we can bring to the table, both in the vBlock and with Dell Technologies for SDN and what we have in our storage solutions to really deliver storage as a server, as a service through software, is an incredibly, differentiated value proposition that we have to set the foundation for. Otherwise, these two layers of the strategies won't work.
Great. I love, I think this is an important piece that you wrote down both EHC demo and NHC demo because, a whiteboard, I think we've all been the customers where you've gone and delivered a whiteboard. You show up a month later and your whiteboard is still in their room, right? They haven't erased it yet. Having an actual URL listed there that's somewhere that they will go to, I think is a great tactic. Love it.
And I think what it sets us up for, Chris, is a lot of times when we talk about these things, customers look at us and say, hey, that's great. Everyone else just told me that. This gives us a great opportunity where if we do get challenged, right? Hey, the customer can go there their own, but why not turn around as an account SC and show the customer right there and take any potential objection you have off the table.
I think it's important, Dan, too, to understand and that we understand as a sales force that as you move up this time to value chain and time to market chain, that this means bigger deals, right?
Absolutely.
Bigger margins, right? More market share as we're able to sell the entire full stack. So let's move on to that last piece, which is this new group of Dell Technologies, right? We always talked about the federation in the past, right? But now we have an even larger portfolio and group of companies together. And you drew these in a very specific order. Can you explain that and why you did that?
Yeah, sure. So I think if I had to say the most important order, it's about kind of capturing the three entities. But I started with the core to kind of paint a picture that, hey, we're talking to people inside the data center. This is the world they live in. They understand Dell EMC and VMware. I think it's really important that we call out that we have an entire division that's there to kind of take the best of breed components from these worlds and deliver solutions to our customers. But the next logical step for every customer is that they're dealing with cloud, right? They can't necessarily be agile or deliver things at the right cost here. I want to show customers that we have a complete, thought process around cloud, around securing it, around providing a cloud, and allowing you to actually develop applications on that cloud-based infrastructure.
Awesome. I've seen you do this before where you've actually broken these down into, the actual offerings within CPSD and within VMware and with Dell that are relevant to that conversation. I think what's important for everyone to understand is This whiteboard paints a great picture, but you could be delivering it to a customer and focus on one section for 30 minutes,
100%.
right? Depending on exactly what their challenges are. It's really all around that 4-box and exactly what their challenges are and adapting your message to focus there. I think it's great. And I love how you close on the, edge to core to cloud, right? Because that's ultimately where everyone wants to go. And with the new client offerings that we're able to position within Dell Technologies and the new family, it gives us a huge opportunity to be that full data center solution for our customers. Again, Dan, thanks for putting this together. I think it gives us a great leave behind for the customers. It gives you a great opportunity to have much bigger conversations as you walk through the stack and ultimately take more share. We have such incredible opportunities between all of the families of companies. It's a unique, exciting time for us. So all of the SCs out there, as you're practicing it, please let us know, right? Give us some comments as to how this is working for you, what kind of conversations it's opened up for, and I think it's a great opportunity. Thanks a lot, Dan.
Thanks, Chris.
Take
care.
care.